None other waiting needed. We are going straight into the second game on the map.
Zelnaga Caverns, one of my favorite maps ever. We are going directly into game 2 of Grubby versus Idra. Already we have seen a very surprising series of games. Will Grubby be able to take it 2-1? We shall see. In the top corner, we have the blue Protoss. Narrowly lost that last game. If you'd like to see him take Idra out in game 2, give a cheer for Grubby. And if you would like the bad boy of pro gaming to close the series out 2-0, give a cheer for EG's Idra.
Idra with a phenomenal fan base all over the world consistently. No matter what he does, no matter how bad mannered that guy is, he still has this incredible fan base supporting him through all his actions, which is awesome. And now we do have Grubby with that 9 scout. Gonna grab a gold mineral patch first before going into Idra's base. We'll have to see what Idra decides to do if he's going to open up. Most likely, I suppose he'd most likely prefer to open up gas pool, because this map is quite small and a lot of early execution builds are very viable here. You know, 4-gate, any fast 5-gate pressure off 2 base and so on. But yeah, he's actually up to 15 food already, so he might be going for a spawning pool first.
I mean, I really like any build that does a little bit of harassment followed by a huge gateway push. A lot of times Zergs deal with harassment with this mindset of, as long as I can hold this off, then I can finally go back to building drones. And that huge push can come at a very, very rough time. Looks like Grubby immediately going to return to the natural expansion of Idra, block it off with some nice patrols.
And yeah, now we do have Idra getting the gas, as he can't really go for that early hatchery. He's going to try and get it though on 15 anyways. He's sending down this drone. Let's see how well Grubby, and does Grubby lose that probe quite fast early on again. And here comes the drone versus probe fight. How long will the probe stay alive? Will he decide to build a pile? He doesn't quite have the money to do so yet though.
You have to be very, very careful with that early probe. I mean, players like Kiwi Kaki, with their phenomenal micro, can manage to keep that probe alive for ages, but knows Grubby going to lose the probe again.
I'm not sure if I agree with that, in all honesty. I mean, Grubby will have the argument for sure to do that. But I don't know, even just leaving as soon as you have 1 hit left would have been fine. It's only a few more seconds on that hatchery, which won't really make too much of a big difference here, especially because Idra didn't even have the money to build the hatchery immediately anyway, because he invested in the queen and 2 sets of lings.
And I love this careful scouting that a lot of Zergs do. Look at Idra checking every single corner of the map. Also moving around with 2 Zerglings to maybe check out the front. And a very common play we see Idra do, he's going to march a drone up. If there was a Zealot there, he'd be able to move right through it by right-clicking on those minerals. Idra going to get a key scout into Grubby's base. This will delay Grubby's tech a lot. We see him having to rally that one Stalker over to just pick off the drone. Can't do any pressure early on because he needs to eliminate the scout.
And where's Grubby's gas going to go into, I'm asking myself, because he's built a Zealot now, and there we go, Stargate coming down. Very fast 1-gate Stargate here, but Idra, sorry, does have this Overlord in a nice location on the right-hand side. We'll be able to go in around the 5:36 minute mark to go ahead and scout what's going on. And what's this probe going to do? He's going to throw down another gateway here, and possibly a 3rd gateway, so it looks like we're going to see quite early aggression here from Grubby.
Ooh, he could be going for a 3-gate Void Ray opening. Very aggressive push style, and at this point we see that Idra does manage to spot these 2 gateways. Now this could actually potentially help out Grubby. What generally happens in a spot like this is a Zerg will say, oh, it's just 3 gateways followed by an expansion. That is the most common opening that we see come out of Protosses, especially in the last several months. So Idra could very likely overestimate how little Grubby will end up having in terms of an offensive capability. And once he sees this one Zealot and the Sentry, that will likely be what he's anticipating. When a Void Ray pops out and begins knocking at his front door, he's going to be in very rough shape.
And Idra hasn't decided to get a 3rd queen early on either. It's going to be kind of hard. And he's gone for 6 roaches. This is really interesting. He looks like he's going to try and bust Grubby's fast expansion. Even though there is a Void Ray and probably a 2nd one going to be Chrono boosted out. And it looks like Idra's going to run straight into a wall here.
Now, a good question is, will Grubby actually let this Nexus finish? I mean, he has these extra gateways up, but, you know, I don't think that he'll actually be using it. We actually now see him saving up possibly for another Void Ray. I mean, this is going to be very unusual if he ends up leaving this Nexus up. But
he's not going to show the... Oh, he actually so smart. Grubby goes in between the Overlord and the Xel'Naga Tower, and Idra has no idea about it. Yet, he doesn't have a second one in production, so this could really go either way. This Void Ray could do a lot of damage to Idra's natural, but at the same time, he doesn't have a second one to defend with.
I mean, I honestly think that Idra will be able to do a ton of damage with this early push. These 2 gateways gonna have to be canceled. There's an extra Void Ray getting produced right now. Idra, manages to force a bunch of cancels. Wow, Grubby now adding on 2 more gateways, gonna commit himself to the all-in. There's the Void Ray moving forward right now, and Idra spots it. And there are a bunch of Zerglings darting up into the main. I mean, Idra is just in a gigantically advantageous spot.
Oh, definitely. And now he understands that the Void Ray's there. Grubby could possibly lose this Void Ray on the natural. Idra defends with a few queens and even goes back. Very nice force fields here by Grubby.
But the Zerglings managed to sneak in, doing a lot of damage to the sentries, doing a lot of damage to the stalkers. We see nothing but drones and Evo chambers going down right now for Grubby. 1 Void Ray will arrive in time to pick off these roaches. But oh no, Grubby's moving down the ramp. Will the Zerglings get in? Oh, he manages to get a force field off at the very last second, but he desperately needs to morph in another sentry. Grubby letting his macro slip again, does not get that second sentry in that he needs. Now morphing in some more zealots. Zerglings running amok in his base, Grubby having a collapse right at the start of the game. And
Idra's just been building drones for the last minute or so and is now at a 20 almost lead. And even though Grubby manages to hold on, what can he do from here? This is going to be very, very difficult to go into the later stages of this game, as now Idra's added on a layer, has gone for 4 Vespian Geysers in total. And has even not opted to go for a 3rd base here.
But again, this is the sloppiness that we saw last game. 4 Overlords sitting ducks in the middle of the map. Grubby clearly has to commit to an all-in at this point in time. Should definitely begin putting guys back in gas. He does manage to see it. Big relief. But with all these Overlords getting picked off, Idra's actually going to get supply blocked. And there it falls down. If he spots that extra Overlord, oh no, there's another Overlord moving out. Idra just cannot stay in the green supply.
And this could be really bad because he really doesn't have that many units. 3 queens, though, are quite beefy and will be able to tank a lot of damage, but it looks like Grubby is going to go engage. He has to micro so well with these Void Rays to have, to win this engagement.
But it looks like there's going to be a few too many Zerg units. We see those queens dealing a lot of damage, but wait a minute. Here comes some great micro by Grubby, managing to keep those units alive. Now he's picking off the queens. Does manage to get 2 down, but the roach number is continuing to increase. And this 1 Void Ray will get taken out by Idra. Those are the big damage dealers of this battle. So right now, Idra is looking to be in a good position to defend this push. Zerglings and roaches coming out in pairs. And slowly and surely, Idra is going to be able to hold off the reverse all-in, and Idra takes the series 2-0. A pretty convincing game in Game 2, but a little bit of sloppiness coming out of the American Zerg.
And I'm pretty sure Minchel would have been watching that game and giggling to himself, knowing that he wants to confront Idra once again. And Idra's got to be careful about that. And as you can see, he's not playing on top of his game right now. Even though beating Grubby 2-0, Grubby, I think, might be actually out of the tournament now.
Yeah, Grubby now 1-2. The only way he can win is if he gets 2-0 in all his remaining matches and ends up being ahead in the individual map results. So definitely Idra is positioning himself to perform well in his later round matches, but keep in mind, everyone in that group is a contender to advance. We've seen Idra look very vulnerable to every single person he has played against thus far.
And I just want to look over that group, actually. And if we go to it now, we have Idra, of course, inside the group. We have Grubby. But then if you look at the other players now, Merge has already got a win on Idra, which kind of should have been an Idra win. And the 3 remaining players it looks like that Idra has to play is Nama, which is not going to be easy.
He did manage to 2-1 Nama.
Okay, he 2-1. I'll say this is remaining 2 games now, and Idra can't afford to lose one of these 2 remaining games. And the 2 opponents are the 2 Ladder Kings, Cass and Sase.
Wow, the 2 players
so
who really
how
been
difficult
looking
is
good.
that going to be?
And I mean, we will be casting Idra vs. Empire Koss, not next round, but 2 from now. So definitely stay tuned. That will be starting. Actually, I don't know when it's starting because I think there's a break scheduled coming up. Not as important as the fact that you need to stay and watch every single match that's coming up, because right after this very short break, we're going to be going into Adele Scott from France against Sen from Taiwan, another Zerg vs. Protoss. Will Sen be able to come back and show that he has that solid ZVP, or will Adele Scott look just as sharp as OGS MC and the other Protosses we've seen today?
And that's going to be a very, very exciting game to look forward to. And what's the ETA on that game, do you think? The Adele Scott versus Sen game? Is it immediately now, or is it going to be a few minutes break?
Yeah, there will be a 5-minute break in between to let us get just a little bit more water for our poor little caster throats. But without any further ado, we're going to go to a brief break. This is Dreamhack Summer 2011, the StarCraft 2 edition. We're in the group stages right now. I am Day 9.
And I'm D Apollo.
And don't go anywhere. We will be coming up with some PvZ action right after this.
The faster, lighter protection. ESET Nod 32 antivirus gives you less lag and more frag for your Windows, Mac or Linux computer.